I hope you're doing well today because we've got something truly special to talk about. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey through one of the most emotionally charged and thought-provoking movies of our time. Small Things Like These. Now, I know a lot of you have heard about the film, and many of you have seen it. But today, I want us to break it down together, explore every little detail, and truly dive into the heart and soul of its ending. Trust me, you won't want to miss what I have to say. Let's start off by setting the stage. Imagine a small town in Ireland, where tradition and secrecy run deep. In this town, we meet Bill Furlong, a coal miner who seems ordinary at first glance. He's quiet, he's thoughtful, and he's dealing with inner demons that many of us can relate to. Bill is played by the amazing Cillian Murphy, and he gives one of his best performances here. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Bill isn't just any miner. Behind his unassuming exterior lies a man with a heart full of compassion and a burden from his past. You see, Bill is haunted by his own history. His mother, who once worked as a servant for a rich woman, passed away when he was young. That loss left him with deep feelings of guilt and regret, a feeling that he carried with him every single day. And then, there's the insomnia. Bill just can't seem to find the peace he's been searching for, as if the silence of the night holds all the secrets and sorrows of his past. And then, out of nowhere, he stumbles upon something in his town that completely shatters the calm he's grown accustomed to. Now, hang on a minute, because here is where the suspense really starts building. Bill, going about his day, begins to notice things that most people in his town prefer to ignore. He learns about the dark secret hidden behind the facade of a convent in Magdalene Laundries, where girls are being abused and robbed of the very right to choose their own destiny. Can you imagine that? In a place that is supposed to offer sanctuary and care, there is instead suffering and oppression. And then, there is Sarah. Sarah is a young girl trapped in a world where innocence is stolen by those who are supposed to protect it. When Bill first meets Sarah, her story is heartbreaking. The nuns force her into silence and shame her by twisting the truth about what really happened. They even try to cover up the harsh reality by falsely describing the events that left her in a dark, lonely shed. But here's the thing: Bill sees through all the lies and pretenses. His kind heart is unable to ignore the injustice before him. He feels an overwhelming need to help her, to be her protector in a world that has shown nothing but cruelty. And that, my friends, is the moment when Bill's character undergoes a profound transformation. I'm sure you're wondering why Bill risks everything to help Sarah. It's because deep down, he recognizes that what is happening to her is not just about one girl, it's about a broken system that abandons those who are most vulnerable. Bill knows all too well what it feels like to be robbed of your choices, to have life force you into decisions that go against your true self. When he sees the painful reality of Sarah's life, he also sees his own inner struggle mirrored in her eyes. It's a kind of connection that goes beyond words, a bond formed from shared pain and the desperate desire to change things for the better. Bill's journey in Small Things Like These is not just about saving one girl, it's about reclaiming his own humanity. He is the kind of person who believes in doing the right thing, even when the world around him tells him otherwise. And let me tell you, his decision to help Sarah was not an easy one. You have to understand that the town, the people in it, and even his own family would not take kindly to his actions. In fact, his family is likely to be ostracized and outcasted because of his bold choice. Even his wife, Eileen, and people like Mrs. Keogh, pressurize him to keep quiet and maintain the status quo. Now, take a moment to really let that sink in. Bill is not a hero who saves everyone with a grand gesture. Instead, he is a normal man who finds the strength to do something extraordinary, a small act of kindness that has the power to change a life. And isn't that something we can all relate to? How many times have we felt that we needed to stand up against something wrong, even if it meant going against what our loved ones believed? Bill's decision, though it might cause rifts and bring backlash, is driven by his deep sense of morality and his own need for redemption. Let's talk more about that redemption. Throughout the film, Bill is constantly haunted by the memories of his own past and the unresolved feelings of guilt over his mother's death. It's almost as if he has been carrying a heavy bag all his life, a bag full of regret and sorrow. And so, when Sarah comes into his life, it offers him a chance to finally do something that feels right, to finally put that burden down by saving someone else from a fate worse than his own. This, my friends, is what makes the ending so emotionally impactful. In the movie, you see Bill wrestling with his conscience. The tension builds as he is pressured by Mother Mary, a figure who represents the corrupt power structure within the convent. She's not just a person, she's a symbol of everything that is wrong with the system. She bribes Bill, threatens him subtly, and makes it clear that what he is about to do will have serious consequences. Bill's interaction with Mother Mary is filled with fear, anxiety, and a sense of impending doom. Yet, in that moment of darkness, Bill's true character shines through. He chooses to help Sarah despite the immense personal risk. I know many of you are thinking, but what about his family? What happens when they find out? And that's another important point. When Bill and Sarah cross the bridge back into town, you can almost feel the judgment in every gaze from the people around. It's as if the entire town is silently condemning him. And when he brings Sarah to his home, introducing her to his family, the shock is palpable. There is a heavy silence that follows, a silence that speaks volumes about the cost of doing what is right. Bill's act is a testament to the fact that sometimes, moral courage comes with a steep price. Yet, he does it anyway, because he knows that saving Sarah, in that moment, is more important than the potential backlash he and his family might face. Now, let me ask you this: how many of us have ever faced a situation where we had to choose between what is easy and what is right? Bill's journey reminds us that even in the most challenging situations, it is our small acts of kindness that make the biggest impact. And that's the real meaning behind small things like these. It's about a man who, despite his own struggles and pain, finds the strength to do something good for someone else. It's about the idea that no matter how small your actions might seem, they can change the world around you. I believe that every one of us here can draw inspiration from Bill's story. We all have the power to make a difference, even if it's just in our own small corner of the world. One of the most striking aspects of the film is how visually appealing it is, even though it tackles very heavy subject matter. The use of light and shadow, the quiet, almost hypnotic pace, and the careful framing of each scene all work together to create an atmosphere that is both haunting and beautiful. It draws you in and makes you feel as though you are right there with Bill, experiencing every moment of his inner turmoil and his ultimate act of courage. And I think that visual appeal is what makes the film not just a story, but an experience. It's not just about watching a movie, it's about feeling every emotion that it brings to the surface. Now, I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about the broader implications of Bill's decision. By choosing to rescue Sarah, Bill is essentially taking a stand against a corrupt system, a system that has allowed the abuse of vulnerable girls to continue in silence. You have to ask yourself, what does it say about our society when we turn a blind eye to injustice? Bill's actions serve as a powerful reminder that sometimes, it is up to each one of us to speak out and take responsibility when we see something wrong. It challenges us to not be passive bystanders, but active participants in the fight for justice and kindness. And here's the part that really gets me. The ending of small things like these is open-ended. We never get to see the full repercussions of Bill's decision. We are left wondering, what happens next? Will his actions lead to a greater change, or will they bring more sorrow? But that ambiguity is what makes it so memorable and emotionally charged. It forces us to grapple with the idea that sometimes, doing the right thing doesn't come with a neat, happy ending. Instead, it leaves us with a mix of hope and sorrow, a reminder that redemption often comes at a cost. I want to encourage every single one of you watching today to take a moment and reflect on this. Think about the small things you do every day that might seem insignificant, but could actually have a huge impact on someone else's life. Maybe it's a kind word, maybe it's a helping hand, or even just the courage to stand up for what you believe in. That is the true message of this film. It tells us that even in a world that often feels cold and indifferent, our small acts of kindness can create ripples that reach far beyond what we can see. And that, my friends, is why this movie is so important. I also want to touch on the fact that the film is based on true historical events. The convent and the Magdalene Laundries are not just fictional settings, they are part of a dark chapter in history. In real life, these establishments were subjects of inquiries, reparations, and scandal. In fact, by the 1990s, these laundries had been shut down and even a mass grave was discovered, exposing the grim realities of these institutions. This historical backdrop only adds to the weight and depth of the movie's message, reminding us that sometimes, the smallest act of kindness is a beacon of hope in a world filled with injustice. Let's also talk about the community and identity that the film builds. Bill's struggle is not just a personal one, it's a struggle that resonates with everyone in that town. It creates a sense of community where the fight for what is right unites people, even if only in silent admiration. And for those of you who have ever felt like you didn't quite fit in or that you were fighting against a tide of indifference, Bill's story is a call to remember that you are not alone. There is power in unity, in being part of a community that stands together for truth and justice. As we reach this point in our discussion, I want to leave you with a call to action. If you felt moved by Bill's journey, or if you see parts of your own struggle reflected in his story, then I urge you to take that emotion and channel it into action. Whether it is by volunteering, supporting causes that fight injustice, or simply by standing up when you see something wrong, know that your voice and your actions matter. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the film's ending and its many layers, please do like this video, comment below with your thoughts, and share it with someone who you think needs to hear this message. Before I wrap up today's video, let me just revisit some of the major points we talked about. The ending of Small Things Like These is both heartwarming and harrowing. It shows us a man, Bill, who battles his inner demons and the injustice of a corrupt institution, to help a young girl named Sarah. His act of kindness, though risky, is driven by a deep desire to redeem himself and to stand up for those who are being oppressed. Along the way, Bill's struggle with his past, especially the loss of his mother and the guilt that has haunted him ever since, adds such an emotional depth to his character. And when you see the quiet, suspenseful build-up of the narrative, you can feel every bit of tension as Bill makes the decision that will change everything. The film is visually stunning and emotionally charged, using every frame to pull you into the story. And while the ending leaves many questions unanswered, it is that very ambiguity that forces us to reflect on the complexities of morality, redemption, and the human capacity for kindness. It reminds us that sometimes, life does not tie up all its loose ends neatly, and that we must find our own closure in the actions we take. To all of you out there, remember that every little act of kindness contributes to a larger tapestry of hope and change. Don't ever underestimate the power of doing what is right, even if it means facing criticism or isolation from those around you. The story of Bill Furlong is a powerful reminder that even the smallest gesture, when done with genuine compassion, can ripple out and make a difference. This is the kind of message we need more than ever in today's world, a message of empathy, of courage, and of the importance of standing up for what is right, no matter the cost. I really hope that by breaking down the movie like this, I've helped you see not only the story of small things like these, but also a mirror reflecting our own struggles and triumphs. There is so much in this film that is relatable: our fears, our regrets, and our hope for a better tomorrow. And if you have ever felt alone in your fight, remember that every one of us carries the potential to be a hero in our own lives. It's in the everyday decisions, the small moments of kindness, where we truly find our strength. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this discussion. I cannot stress enough the importance of reflecting on these themes and finding ways to bring light into the darker parts of our lives and communities. I invite you to comment below and let me know what you think about Bill's journey, about the ending of the movie, and about the idea of redemption in the face of overwhelming adversity. Your thoughts and voices are what make this community so special, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you found this video insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into movies that challenge our perceptions and emotions. Let's continue this conversation together and build a community that believes in the power of empathy, courage, and the importance of doing what is right, even when it's hard. Remember, sometimes the smallest things, like the choice to help someone in need, can change everything. And that's a message that resonates far beyond the confines of a movie. It's a call to action for all of us to be kinder, braver, and more compassionate in our daily lives. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. And never forget that every small act of kindness can be the spark that lights up a whole world of hope. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.